Hey YouTube, it's Dontron MTG, and today we have the Ashiok Planeswalker deck from Theros Beyond Death, and we're gonna open it and look at it. Okay. Okay. So our first card is Mythic Foil, comes with every Planeswalker deck. Ashiok Sculptor of Fears. +2 ability to draw a card. Each player puts the top 2 cards of their library into the graveyard. And -5, put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. -11, gain control of all creatures target opponent controls. Sorry. So first let's talk about the ultimate. It's really good in the late game if you guys are at a standstill, and then you can get the -11 off and steal all the creatures. It's really good. I guess it makes sense, but the synergy of this card's pretty good between its +2 and -5 ability. The +2 draw a card, and then there's 4 cards going into the graveyard, and then you can -5 and put a creature card from among them. You're probably going to get this out like early mid game, maybe just in the middle of the mid game. So there's going to be a lot of creatures in the graveyard, so there's a lot of choices for you to get. I love the art on these. They're super good, especially the Theros Beyond Death. Just leave that right there. We got 2 Theros Beyond Death booster packs. I also got 2 that I won from a draft at my local game store today, so we'll be opening 4 Theros Beyond Death packs by the end of the video. So first we have Gravebreaker Lamia. It's a good rare, gets the escape cards you need into the graveyard, so I like it, and it makes them cheaper. Ashiok's Forerunner. Just like in the M20 play, in the Planeswalker decks, they each have a creature that searches for them, puts it in your hand. And I guess it also happened in Throne of Eldraine. Got 2 of those. Elite Instructor. Draw a card, discard a card. I like how it lets you draw a card, then discard a card. So instead of discard, then draw a card. Because you can choose to discard the card that you drew if it's not really that good. Then we have the Showcase Temerate Chosen from Death. I love these showcase cards. They look so cool. I wish this was foil, but because it's not, doesn't make it much more expensive than unfoiled. But it's an okay form of life gain. Then we got another elite instructor, Towering Wave Mystic. Probably not going to hit that often since it has 1 toughness, easy to block. But I don't know, if you equipped a lot of auras to it and make it super big and swing in for a lot of damage, it's a good way to mill them. We got 3 of those. Faraka's Spawn. Whenever you first summon it, it's just a 4 mana 3/4. But once you escape it escapes with 2+1/+1 counters on it. And each opponent sacrifices a non-Gorgon creature. And there's not many Gorgon creatures, so it's a good little removal. Got 2 of those. Underworld Charger, can't block. 3 for 3. Whenever it escapes, it's 5 for 5. Wish you could block though. 3 of those. Devour of Memory. Whenever one of our cards are put into the graveyard under control, gets +1/+1. It goes good with Ashiok's first ability, where you put 2 cards into your graveyard. Well, I guess it can only be a 3/2 unless it happens from different sources. Because even if you put 2, it still gets 1+1/+1 counter on it. You get 2 of those. Swimmer and Nightmares. +3/+3 as long as there are 10 or more cards in a single graveyard. This deck likes to put cards in graveyards, so it might take a little bit, but it'll end up being a 4/4. And it gets unblockable if you have an Ashiok Planeswalker. So I guess that can count for the War of the Spark ones, which is a lot cheaper on the CMC, but it still gets the job done. We get 3 of those. We got Mind Rack Harpy, flying at the beginning of combat on your turn. Each player puts the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard. Yeah, this deck likes to mill you and mill you yourself. Will mill you and your opponent. So if you had that Jace Planeswalker, where if you mill out, then you actually win the game. If you threw this and this, if you threw that and this deck, it could be pretty good. Then we got a bunch of swamps and islands. 2 Unknown Shores. It's a really good way to fix your mana. Pay 1, get mana of any color. So, like Underworld Dreams, that's 3 black mana. And say you're running this, so you had 2 black and a blue and this card. Then you could pay the blue, tap this, get another black, and then you could play it. I like it. Glimpse of Freedom. 2 mana, draw a card, or you could exile it, or you could escape it for 3 mana and draw a card. I think this is good. I like it. Sleep of the Dead. Good way to handle a big creature that your opponent has. You can just put it to sleep and, put it to sleep and then it doesn't untap. And if it has a relatively cheap escape cost with the exiling wise anyway, with just 3 other cards. I think that's one of the fewest I've seen. We get 3 of those. Final Death, exile a creature. For 5 mana, it just seems like a whole lot of mana for something. I know in this set there's a lot of escape cards, so you can deal with those, but I feel like it's way too expensive for it. Funeral Rites, I love this card. This is probably one of my favorite commons of the set. You draw cards, you lose a little bit of life, but it helps with your escape cards a lot. It just does so much for you. It's really good. Myers Grass, it's good removal in the early game. -3/-3. Early game, not many creatures have more than 3 toughness, so it's a good way. Let me see the code. Yeah, the code will be used before the video goes up, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, then we'll open up the 2 packs that came with this one, and then we'll open up the 2 packs I got from my LGS. I had this card play against me in my draft today. I like it. Dream Shaper Shaman. If you're playing a deck with a lot of high CMC permanents, then this can be good. X Herald. +1/+1 trample at the beginning of combat. I like it. A rare. Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths. Kind of fitting with this. That we get a Dimir card as our rare for this first pack in this blue and black Planeswalker deck. I think I went over this card in my other video that I posted earlier this week, so you can find it there. Another Unknown Shores. I like this too. It's a really good defender. Will last you a while. Okay, Cling to Dust. I like this. You can pick In the later game, if you need some card draw or some life gain, this is a good card. Vanishing Light. It's, if I can remember, it's like, I don't know. It was that Conclave card where it had Convoke, where it's the same thing, but it doesn't have Convoke and it's 1 mana cheaper. Destiny Spinner. It's good for countering, well, it's good for protecting your cards from being countered. Got a rare, the first Iron games. Okay, now we'll open up the 2 packs I got from my LGS. Other creatures control of trample, I like that. This could be really good on that Ashiok's free, I forget what it's called, but the one that is unblockable when you have an Ashiok Planeswalker. This will be good since it gets you a lot of card draw, deal a lot of damage. Got a Caliphate without the showcase. The surprising thing is I've seen more demigods with the showcase rather than I have without them. I think that's just kind of funny. Favorite of Iros. Whenever enchantment is battlefield control, gets double strike. I like that. Add some auras to it, then can be really dangerous. Dream Trawler. Flying lifelink, draw a card. Whenever you draw a card, gets +1/+0. Whenever you attack to draw a card, this is good. And then you can discard a card to protect it from removal spells. Okay, this will be the last pack of the video. Get these rares and uncommons in here. Got another Elite Instructor, Moss Viper, another Harpy, not the ones that we got though. Kind of landfall, but for the graveyard rather than the battlefield, right? On that one. Oh, One with the Stars. I had this card used on me today. It's good. It took out one of my blockers that I had, but unfortunately it wasn't a vanilla creature that didn't have any abilities, so I didn't get much value out of it once this was done. I like this. It's not putting it into the graveyard, so it won't do graveyard triggers, but we'll send it at the bottom of your library, and unless they can search it out specifically, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get it. Destiny Spinner again, and rare. Dalico's Crafter of Wonders. Ooh, and a foil Lampet of Death's Vigil. I like Dalico's. Good for a aura, or, well, no, not really aura, just equipment-based deck where you have a lot of artifacts. Okay, this has been an opening of Ashiok's Planeswalker deck. Really like the art on this. And 4 Theros Beyond Death booster packs, so hope you guys enjoyed.